You open the app because you are lonely. 10 seconds later, you are comparing human beings like products. A face appears, then another face, each one reduced to a tiny window of photos, jokes, height, hobbies, job titles, travel pictures, and carefully selected evidence that they are worth choosing. Swipe left. Swipe right. Keep browsing. This is not just dating. This is a marketplace with feelings attached. And the strangest part is that almost nobody admits they are shopping. They say they are looking for connection, they say they are seeing what happens, they say they are just putting themselves out there, but your thumb knows the truth before your mouth does. Your thumb is sorting. Your thumb is ranking. Your thumb is rejecting. So when did romance start feeling like a catalog? For most of human history, dating did not look like endless choice. Your ancestors did not open a glowing rectangle and inspect 500 possible partners before breakfast. People met through villages, families, churches, schools, workplaces, neighborhoods, and friend groups. The pool was smaller. The rules were clearer. The options were limited by geography, class, religion, family expectation, and plain old chance. That sounds restrictive. It was. But restriction also did something modern dating struggles to do. It made choice finite. Now choice feels infinite, and infinite choice does not always make you freer, sometimes it makes you worse at choosing. Psychologist Barry Schwartz called this the paradox of choice. The idea is simple. When people have more options, they expect a better outcome, but they also feel more pressure, more regret, and more fear that they picked the wrong thing. A choice that should feel empowering starts to feel like homework with emotional consequences. This is why dating apps can make you feel hopeful and exhausted at the same time. There might be someone better. There might be someone hotter. There might be someone funnier, richer, calmer, more ambitious, more emotionally available, more your type, less complicated, and somehow located only 2 miles away. So you keep looking. Not because you are shallow. Because the system trains your attention to behave like a shopper. In a store, browsing makes sense. You compare price, quality, reviews, design, delivery time, and whether another product has slightly better features. The object does not feel rejected when you leave it on the shelf. The chair does not wonder why you ghosted it. The headphones do not reread the conversation at midnight. But people do. That is where the marketplace becomes strange. A dating profile turns a person into a presentation. Sociologist Irving Goffman wrote about this in The Presentation of Self in Everyday Life. His idea was that social life works partly like a performance. You do not show every version of yourself at once. You manage impressions. You choose the face, the words, the clothes, the setting, the little signals that say, "This is who you should think I am." A dating profile compresses that performance into a few seconds. You are not lying necessarily. You are packaging. The hiking photo says active. The dog photo says warm. The group photo says social. The mirror selfie says confident or maybe trying too hard, depending on who is judging. The job title says stable. The travel photo says interesting. The prompt answer says witty. The absence of certain things says just as much. No messy bedroom. No boring Tuesday. No unpaid bills. No awkward family lunch. No tired face after work. You are asked to become instantly legible like a product label on a crowded shelf. And once you do that, you start reading other people the same way. What does this photo mean? What does this outfit signal? Why did they choose that joke? Why are all their pictures at weddings? Why is every person suddenly fluent in rock climbing, espresso, therapy language, and not taking life too seriously? The profile becomes a tiny advertisement for a life. And you are not just asking, do I like this person? You are asking, would choosing this person say something good about me? That is where status sneaks in. Dating has always involved status. Beauty, wealth, family background, confidence, reputation, charm, and social approval have never been irrelevant, but apps make status easier to display, easier to compare, and easier to quantify. A person becomes a bundle of visible signals. Height, face, body, education, job, lifestyle, humor, politics, taste. Follower-like social proof hidden inside photos with friends, parties, gyms, restaurants, and vacations. Robert Cialdini popularized the concept of social proof, which means people often decide what is valuable by watching what other people appear to value. In dating, social proof can be subtle. A profile full of friends suggests desirability. A stylish restaurant suggests taste. A busy social life suggests demand. The message is not spoken, but it is there. Other people want this life. Maybe you should too. So the app does not just show you people. It shows you people as signals. And because everyone knows they are being judged quickly, everyone optimizes. This is how normal human insecurity becomes design material. You choose photos that survive the first second. You remove anything too strange, too needy, too ordinary, too intense, too sincere, too boring. You write a prompt that sounds casual but not lazy, smart but not arrogant, funny but not unserious, interested but not desperate. You try to look like you care but not too much. That sentence could describe an entire generation of dating. Care but not too much. Reply but not too fast. Compliment but not too directly. Ask questions but do not interview. Show interest but preserve leverage. Be open but remain unbothered. This is not romance in the old poetic sense. This is reputation management with flirting attached. And the invisible fear is simple. The person with less attachment has more power. So everyone performs lightness. Everyone pretends they are just seeing where things go. Everyone acts like they are emotionally diversified, like no single match can move the stock price too much. You may want closeness, but you do not want to look like you want closeness. Because wanting is risky. Wanting gives someone information. And information can be used against you. This is why the talking stage feels so weird. It is not a relationship. It is not nothing. It is a negotiation in a fog. You send messages that are both authentic and strategic. You wait before replying not because you are busy but because instant enthusiasm feels socially expensive. You reread a 3-word response like it is a legal document. You detect tone in punctuation. You measure distance in emojis. One exclamation point means warmth. No punctuation means maybe bored. A heart reaction means something unless it means nothing. A delayed reply could mean work, sleep, anxiety, disinterest, another date, or a phone face down on a kitchen counter. The data is terrible. The interpretation never stops. Economist George Akerlof wrote about markets where people cannot fully know the quality of what they are buying. His famous example was used cars where sellers know more than buyers. In plain English, when trust is low and information is incomplete, everyone starts guarding themselves. Modern dating has a similar problem. You cannot see someone's long-term character from a profile. You cannot know how they handle conflict from a gym selfie. You cannot know whether their charm is kindness or just skill. You cannot know whether they want love, attention, validation, sex, distraction, revenge, comfort, or a story to tell their friends. So you use signals. Everyone does. But signals are not the thing itself. A profile can signal warmth without warmth. Confidence without stability. Sensitivity without responsibility. Ambition without generosity. Good taste without goodness. And because everyone knows the signals matter, everyone learns to produce them. This is where the marketplace gets colder. The more everyone optimizes the display, the harder it becomes to trust the display. So you become suspicious. You scan for red flags. You check inconsistencies. You look for hidden meanings. You treat the other person like a puzzle that might hurt you. And they are doing the same to you. Now reconstruct a normal Friday. You're tired after work, you sit on your bed with your phone tilted toward your face. The room is quiet but the app is crowded. Dozens of people appear in a space smaller than your palm. A teacher with kind eyes, a designer with perfect lighting, a gym photo, a beach photo, a person holding a drink, a person holding a dog, a person holding a fish for reasons no civilization has fully explained. You laugh once. You swipe. You match. For a second there is a tiny hit of validation. Someone chose you back. Not all of you. A version of you. Still it feels good. Then the next game begins. Who messages first? What opener is clever enough to stand out but not so clever that it sounds rehearsed? You type something. Delete it. Type something else. Delete that too. Finally, you send a line that sounds effortless because effort has been carefully hidden inside it. Now you wait. The waiting is part of the product. The app has converted uncertainty into attention. You check your phone, then tell yourself not to check, then check again. A notification becomes a small emotional event. No notification becomes one too. This is why dating apps are not just tools for meeting people. They are machines for producing possibility. Possibility is powerful because it does not have to become real to affect you. The almost date, the maybe person, the conversation that could turn into something, the match you never message but keep as evidence that options exist. Sometimes the fantasy is smoother than the date. The fantasy does not chew loudly. The fantasy does not have bad politics. The fantasy does not misread your joke. The fantasy does not reveal that the spark was mostly lighting, timing, and your imagination doing unpaid labor. Real people interrupt fantasy. That is their great flaw. And their great value. Because real intimacy requires something the marketplace hates. Slowness. A marketplace rewards fast comparison. Intimacy requires repeated exposure. A marketplace rewards visible signals. Intimacy reveals invisible habits. A marketplace rewards keeping options open. Intimacy requires closing some doors at least long enough to see what is actually inside one room. This is why the counterintuitive twist is uncomfortable. The problem is not that dating apps contain too many bad people. The problem is that even good people behave differently when they are placed inside a marketplace. A kind person can become dismissive when profiles feel endless. A sincere person can become strategic when vulnerability feels punishable. A lonely person can become picky not because they are arrogant, but because choice has made every imperfection look like a reason to keep shopping. The system does not need you to be cruel. It only needs you to keep evaluating. Shoshana Zuboff used the phrase surveillance capitalism to describe an economy that profits from tracking and shaping human behavior. In plain English, many digital platforms make money by keeping your attention, learning your patterns, and nudging what you do next. Dating apps vary in their business models, but the basic tension is hard to ignore. Your goal is to leave the app with someone meaningful. The app's goal is to keep the system valuable. Those goals can overlap, but they are not identical. A perfect dating app would help you find love and become unnecessary. A perfect business may prefer that you keep returning. Not miserable enough to quit. Not satisfied enough to leave. Just hopeful enough to swipe again. That hope is the fuel. And hope is not fake. That is what makes it complicated. People really do meet partners through apps. Real relationships begin there. Real marriages begin there. Real love can emerge from a badly lit profile and a nervous first message. The marketplace does not make love impossible. It makes love compete with the logic of the marketplace. Comparison. Optimization. Scarcity. Abundance. Branding. Ranking. Fear of missing out. Fear of settling. Fear of wanting more than the other person. Fear of being chosen for the wrong reasons or not chosen at all. So what can you do with this? Not delete every app and move to a mountain. Not pretend old dating was pure and modern dating is ruined. The older systems had their own cruelty, exclusion, pressure, and lack of freedom, but you can see the rules more clearly. You can notice when you are browsing instead of choosing. You can notice when a person has become a set of features. You can notice when you are performing indifference to protect your pride. You can notice when your standards are protecting your future and when they are protecting your fear. You can ask a harder question than, is there someone better? You can ask, what would happen if you gave one real person enough attention to become three-dimensional? That does not mean ignoring red flags. It means remembering that a human being is not fully visible at profile speed. Neither are you. Your best parts may not fit inside 6 photos and a joke about tacos. Your patience, your loyalty, your strange little habits, your ability to comfort someone on a bad day, your courage to apologize, your capacity to grow, your quiet forms of love, all of that is almost impossible to swipe for. So the tragedy is not only that you judge others too quickly. It is that you are judged too quickly too. You become a thumbnail of yourself. A pitch deck for your own desirability. A person trying to prove in less than 3 seconds that you deserve a longer look. That is exhausting because it is not just rejection. It is compression. A whole life squeezed into a card. A whole person turned into a maybe. The app did not invent human desire, insecurity, beauty, status, or fear. It simply arranged them into a clean interface and gave your thumb a job. Swipe left. Swipe right. Keep browsing. And somewhere inside that motion, the old question changed. It used to be, can you find someone to love? Now it is also, can you still recognize a person while the marketplace is teaching you to shop? You open the app because you are lonely. But now you can see the store lights.